Thank you for choosing our Patio Heat channel. I'm Steve. We provide tips and information to extend the enjoyment of your patio project. Our videos give you a knowledgeable overview prior to investing in your outdoor heating equipment. Whether you are a professional or owner builder, we provide specific details for optimum heat coverage for your application. Post a comment or question, or for developed visual designs, send your request into designs@patioheat.com. We're here to work with you. For over 30 years, patio heating is the bedrock of our business, expressing what works best. Now let's get heating. All right, so here we have this residential pergola that's going to be designed. And we have two sections that they're looking at heating. So number one section is over here on the backside patio. And the number two section, and I have this as just a, if I look at the dimensions here, I have this just at 8 feet off the finished floor and about 6 feet wide from the outer edge of the post here. I'm not sure about the true ceiling and or rooftop area, but I have this at about 3 feet distance, so this angle here would be similar to that. They also showed that there's going to be a couple of fans here, so that's something else that I need to consider. And then if we go back over here and we look at the overall dimensions, if I looked at the floor plan that they sent, I'm matching the floor plan pretty decently. You can see I'm 1/4 inch off here, so this should be 14. This area here should be about 13.9, and I'm 1/3 off, or 1/4 off there. I have the bottom edge of this cross beam here at 8 feet off the floor, and then the bottom edge of these beams over here at 9 feet off the finished floor. Fireplace here, and then the seating position is going to be something similar to this right here. That's about it. So let me go ahead and turn off those floor plans and the dimensions and look at different options that we could do specifically for this space first, and then we'll go back to the other side in just a moment. So what I would do probably, I'm going to go ahead and show you what my number one or my favorite of the three ideas are going to be. And that's going to be to take two of the 6,000 watt units, mount them custom mount, meaning that you'd have to take these brackets here, remove the brackets, and then come up with some sort of bar that would be attached to this side here, let's say. And I'm just going to do this kind of quickly. This is not going to be an exact type of thing, but then you'd have to build something so that it, attached to here. So I'm just going to take that off just so you can kind of see what I'm talking about as far as making that attachment on something like this. So let's go back to what it looks like, and what I have here is I have the units centered within the span of the fireplace here, and then I have them centered within the span from here to here. Now what's important on doing something like this is that you have to meet the clearances above the heater. So above the heater is 6 inches on all sides, so 6 inches left, right, front, back, and top. On the bottom, however, I'm meeting the same height as the bottom edge of these beams here. And with that in mind, we have to just show that there's a clearance below the heater that's 18 inches from here out to all four sides of the heater. And that would allow for this unit to be mounted efficiently in the location here. So now what I want you to see first of all is, and I'll show this again in a minute, is that your visual appearance is going to be really nice with this particular application here, as well as the fact that with the height of the heaters, the type of the heater, 6,000 watt 240 volt units at 25 amps a piece, the ray will penetrate the seating positions fairly decently. We're not hitting the out edge here, maybe 10 inches here, and then approximately about a foot and a quarter here. But we're heating up this whole entire space very, very well with the units placed where I have them. and just to show here, we need 24 inches inside edge to inside edge, and you can see we have 2 feet 4 that I'm showing there, and that's what makes sure that we are meeting the clearances to combustible materials. And again, you know, the coverage is really well on something like this. So that's one idea, and I'm going to go ahead and turn that off and throw on a second idea, and that would be maybe placing the units something like this, where the heaters are, you know, mainly above each seating position, and you know, as the fact of this being a very well heated area, you can see that we're heating the area very well with these 2 units. The only difference is that you visually will see, you know, the units more than you would, you know, in the prior application that I'm showing. So this is a very good heating output, but this here would require something where, you know, what I have here is the center of the unit on the center of this center beam here. So from here to here is the center of the unit, and I have them approximately 8 feet apart from each other. So if I was to take a measurement here, and let's just pop that right there, come over here. Yeah, you can see that that is 8 feet center to center. Again, the units themselves are centered within the span of this these beams here, all 5 of these beams here. So yes, this is a very good application, but the other one I showed before is just as well, and so I'm, you know, happier with that than I am with this at this point. You'd have to come up with your own custom mount from here to this beam to here with these particular units. These are 6,000 watt units as well. They're a little bit more intense at when they're dropped down that additional 9 inches. So from here to the bottom edge here, it's dropped down about 9.5 inches actually. So the intensity is a little bit hotter, and the footprint is a little bit less because it's pushing down. This is a light wave that you're actually seeing. And let me just also just mention, you know, how this heater actually works. These are infrared light waves, just like the sun. If I was to take the sunlight and place it on this application, you'll see that there's shadow over here. If you're standing in the shadow here, you will not feel the light of the sun, the infrared light waves of the sun. But if you stood over here, you would feel that light wave and feel the warmth of the sun immediately, but the air temperature hasn't changed. The infrared does not heat air. Infrared light waves does not heat air, it heats mass. And of course the sun heats the mass of the earth, and you know that earth has a warms up the air itself. However, you know, here on a cold day, you don't get the air, you know, the hot air that does warm from the mass that's around here. You know, it just goes into the atmosphere very quickly. So you're not really heating air. You want to be in the ray itself to, you know, visually or physically feel the warmth of the sun. So, or in this case, infrared light waves. So this would be another option, and then let's go ahead and look at the third option that I would consider, and that would be I believe it's this one here, and placing them on these beams here and this beam here. Again, if we were to look from this perspective, you know, you would see the heater a little bit more than you would the first one that I showed, and I'm just going to pop that back in so you can kind of see the difference. So there's the one that I'm showing now, there's the one I showed before, and if I took that off, you know, you can see the difference here. But the ray for this, again, you know, the heater is down a little bit further from what I've just showed, and the ray itself is fairly decent here. Again, we're a little bit more than that 10 inches that I showed before. We're about 12, maybe 14 inches here, and actually, I don't, this one here I have centered within the fireplace. I don't know if I had the other one centered properly. Let's go ahead and pop that in real quick. And it appears that it is centered properly. So yeah, it's just that the ray itself is just penetrating the ground a little bit closer, so the intensity is a little bit more, as well as, oh, I should mention that I have the angle at about 15 degrees in towards the middle, so you can go maybe 10-15 degrees from straight down, 10 to 15 degrees up, and straight down here 10 to 15 degrees up, and this would be a very good heat coverage as well, with the exception of, you know, heating the outer edge as much as we were before. So those are the three that I would recommend for this, and again, this being my favorite recommendation, just the 2 units and with a custom mount up here. So that's that, and let's go over to the front here. And you know what I'm looking at here is there is an image where there's possibly 2 fans. I have them centered within the post from here to here, and then from here to here. They mentioned that they wanted to only heat one area of this section, and that there are windows here, and that they didn't want to see the units themselves. So what I'm doing here is flush mounting them, and with the idea that the ceiling is in this direction, and I'm assuming that there's ceiling rafters that come up here and here. So that's why I'm placing them in this configuration, because if you configured them opposite or 90 degrees from what they are right now, then you would have to, you know, redesign that upper section of the ceiling up here so that it could actually be mounted up here. And of course, below the heater is 18 inches from the heater edge, not the flush mount kit, but the heater edge itself, to the wall, and any other combustible material. There might be a beam, let's say, that's going across here. Let's just throw one in here real quick so you can kind of get an idea of what I'm speaking of. But let's just say there's a beam over here, and I'm just gonna make it something very quickly, but let's just say that that beam comes across here. You want to make sure that you have 18 inches from there to that beam itself, which this is a 33-inch long unit, 3,000 watt unit, and the intensity is fine for a smaller footprint of heat over here. Let's go ahead and look at what that footprint of heat would look like. And this is that 8-foot section here to the top up here. If we showed that dimension again, you can see that we're 8 foot to the ceiling. And so this would be a nice application. I would like a little bit more intensity for this height, but I think this would be very nice in, you know, 90%, 95% of the cool air in the Southern California area. So another thing we should mention is that, you know, the reason that I have the 2 and the distance that I have them is 18 inches from this edge of the fan here to the actual heater itself here, and then 18 inches from this edge here to the actual edge of the heater, not the flush mount kit itself. But that's another thing just to note. And, you know, although you see that this ray has stopped right here, this is ideal for a 7-foot application. That ray does continue to, you know, to travel and penetrate any mass, or, you know, chairs, tables, floors, human body. So if you were sitting here, I think you would get a very comfortable area 90% of the time, and possibly even, you know, when it's, you know, below 50 even, that you might be comfortable with this type of heat. So yeah, I think that's about it. All right, well, oh, and I should also mention the flush mount kit itself has the flush mount kit. The heater needs to be at the same elevation as the bottom of the ceiling. The flush mount kit itself, you would place a 5/8 drywall surrounding the flush mount kit on the inside. And here's the heater itself, the flush mount kit, and the 5/8 drywall on all 4 sides and the top of the application itself. So, all right, well, I hope this has helped. If you're looking for some assistance with your outdoor heating application and you would like us to review your plans, send your information into designs at patioheat.com, and please tap that like button if you find this video useful. We don't advertise, we're not monetized, and YouTube will not support our channel unless we receive a thumbs up from our viewers. And this is how we get that information out to you. So really appreciate that. Thank you very much. Have an excellent day.